Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Zara, and I am just so thrilled to have you hanging out with me in our cozy little studio space today. Let's just jump right into it. If you're on a journey to improve your English, well, you are in exactly the right place. In this explainer, we're going to look at 10 essential habits that will literally transform your English. And the big idea I want you to take away today is this. Fluency is built on daily habits. It's not about years and years of exhausting passive study. Okay, let's dive in.
Now, I want to start off by asking you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself here. How long have you been learning English? A year? 5 years? Maybe even longer? And despite all that time, do you still feel kind of frustrated? Like you're just not as fluent as you want to be? If you're not in your head right now, please take a deep breath. It is completely normal. The really empowering truth is that by simply changing how you approach your learning, starting today, you can absolutely transform your English.
Because the truth is, fluency really just equals daily habits. It's not this magical destination that you suddenly reach one Tuesday after reading enough textbooks, right? It's actually just a collection of simple, manageable, daily actions that build up over time. It's not about what you do once a month for 5 straight hours. It's about what you do every single day for just a few minutes.
To make this super easy and stress-free for you, we've organized these habits into a clear roadmap. 1. Taking English in. 2. Putting English out. 3. Locking in your learning. And 4. The golden consistency rule. Let's get to it.
So, Section 1. Taking English in. This is all about how you naturally absorb the language.
Okay, our first habit is to listen to English for at least 15 minutes every single day. We're talking podcasts, music, YouTube videos, audiobooks. Now, I'm not talking about intensely studying or taking crazy grammar notes. I mean, just listening. Put some English conversations on in the background while you're cooking or cleaning or commuting to work. Your ear absolutely needs to get used to the natural rhythm and sounds of English, because the more English goes into your ears, the more naturally it's going to eventually come out of your mouth.
Now, when you're picking what to listen to, you really want to aim for what we call the sweet spot. This means finding content that is just slightly above your current level. It should be challenging enough that you actually have to focus to catch the meaning, but not so incredibly hard that you understand absolutely nothing and just want to give up. That sweet spot right there in the middle, that is exactly where the real language learning magic happens.
Which brings us to habit number 3. Read something every single day. And please remember this golden rule, okay? Interest beats willpower. It really does. You don't have to read a long, boring academic book. It can literally be a social media post, a recipe, a single page of a novel, or an article about your favorite sports team. Choosing topics you genuinely care about makes consistency so much easier. If it excites you in your native language, go find it in English. For our final habit in this section, let's compare 2 methods. Watching TV with subtitles in your native language versus watching with English subtitles. Look, when you use your own language, your brain just reads that and completely ignores the English audio. It's true. But when you match English text to English audio, your eyes and ears process the language at the exact same time. This simple switch is an absolute game changer. Start with shows you already know and just let the English flow in.
Moving right along to Section 2, putting English out. It's time to overcome the fear. So, the crucial habit here is to speak out loud every single day, even if you are completely alone. I know, talking to yourself feels kind of strange at first, but narrating your day is incredibly powerful. Just tell yourself what you're making for dinner, describe the weather, have a full-on imaginary conversation in the shower. Your mouth needs the physical practice to make these new sounds feel natural. Doing this alone builds massive confidence without any pressure.
And then, when you do start speaking with others, you usually face a choice. Sticking to the safe, simple words you already know versus making English mistakes on purpose. Most learners are just so terrified of sounding silly that they stay completely silent. But you have to take risks. You've got to try that complex sentence or use that new vocabulary word.
Because I want you to remember this quote. Mistakes are data. Please let that lower your anxiety right now. Getting it wrong isn't a failure, guys. It simply gives your brain the exact data it needs to get it right the next time. You literally cannot improve a skill that you're too afraid to try. So embrace the mistakes.
Of course, producing English is way easier when you aren't doing it entirely alone, right? Habit number 8 is to find an English community. Learning by yourself can be really tough, and motivation will naturally drop. That happens to literally everyone. But finding a friendly Discord server, a Facebook group, or even just chatting in YouTube comment sections gives you vital practice. Plus, these communities keep you accountable when you're feeling a bit lazy.
Another wonderful way to put English out into the world is keeping a daily English journal.
We're talking just 3 to 5 sentences a day. That's the whole shebang. Write about your feelings, your plans, what you ate for lunch. Writing just a few sentences reveals your knowledge gaps. You know, those moments where you want to say something but realize you don't actually know the word? Plus, looking back at your old entries months later is highly satisfying.
Okay, Section 3, locking in your learning. Let's make all this knowledge permanent. To make it permanent, we want to learn 5 new words or phrases daily, but specifically, we need to focus on collocations. This just means learning words that naturally go together in phrases rather than memorizing random individual words from a dictionary. For example, don't just learn the word learn make a decision or make a mistake. You've got to learn them in real-life context.
Now, I want you to consider the math behind this habit. 1825. If you learn just 5 contextual phrases a day, that sounds tiny, right? But over one single year, that equals 1,825 new words. To put that into perspective, that enormous number will absolutely transform your fluency level. But remember, the secret to not forgetting them is actively using them. Words we use are words we keep.
And to make sure you actually keep them, our next habit is an absolute must. Review what you learn. Always. This is the step so many learners skip. Everyone always wants the next new shiny lesson. But reviewing isn't moving backward. Your brain literally needs to see information multiple times to move it from short-term to long-term memory. Rewatch a video from last month and notice how much easier it is to understand. Reviewing locks it in for good.
Finally, Section 4, the golden consistency rule, the absolute most important mindset for fluency.
Here is our final and arguably most important habit of all. Never miss 2 days in a row. Look, life gets busy, you're going to get tired, you'll have days where you just don't want to look at a single English word. And honestly, that is perfectly okay. Missing 1 day is totally fine, but missing 2 days in a row, that starts a break. Missing 3 days starts a brand new habit of not studying. If you miss Tuesday, forgive yourself instantly. No guilt, no drama, but promise yourself you'll show up on Wednesday.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this simple equation. Consistency is greater than perfection. Showing up every single day, even if it's messy, even if you're making mistakes, even if you only have 5 minutes while you're waiting for the bus, is the only true creator of fluency. It's not about having some magical natural talent. It's simply about consistency. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to help you build your routine without feeling overwhelmed. Please, whatever you do, don't try to start all 10 of these habits today. That is a guaranteed recipe for burnout. Instead, I want you to pick just 2 habits. Look at the list and pick the 2 that feel the absolute most cozy and doable for you right now. Make those automatic, and then you can add more.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Which single habit are you going to start today to stop being a passive student and start being an active English speaker? I would absolutely love to know, so please share your choice in the comments below. Remember, fluency is just a collection of daily habits. You are so much closer than you think. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you next time.